What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of El Jardín Perdido. Today we're talking about Seminole pumpkins. Alright, so yeah, I want to share with you guys one of my harvests, the Seminole pumpkin. This is particularly well for my growing zone. I'm like 9A, 9B in Houston, Texas, where it gets really hot. We've been in a heat wave, we've been in the triple digits. So this is a type of squash that can withstand some heat and some tropical humidity. So it's really good for this area. So that is my recent harvest. I got 3 there. And I also have harvested a few blossoms, which had actually fallen to the ground. Yeah, these blossoms had actually just, fallen on the ground. They're not the best, but they're still edible. Ideally, what I would do is, in ensuring that the fruit had already pollinated, you can then remove the blossoms. One really good thing about these is they have a really nice shelf life. I've read you can keep them up to a year, where most pumpkins and certain types of squashes generally do have quite an extended shelf life. Another quality is they are more edible than a pumpkin typically would be. They're less fibrous, so they're more like between a squash, even though a pumpkin is a squash technically. They're more towards that like culinary squash type of pumpkin. Yeah, you could probably cook them up like a butternut squash. I honestly have not even tried one yet. I'm excited to give that a whirl. So yeah, comment below if you guys want to see me cook something up and do a taste test for you guys. Regardless, it works for me because I have chickens and goats. Even if I have, too many squash, or maybe a boar or something gets to one, or they go kind of bad out there. I'll show you guys in a second, but I do have them out behind my fence. I planted them in my yard and they run about 50 feet. So make sure you have plenty of space for them and they need a lot of sunlight. So the vines decided to run out there, and that's cool. But I do have kind of a drainage ditch back there for when it floods bad, and it has been flooding here pretty recently. So I only saw one that got kind of waterlogged and fell victim to that, and it actually rotted. I just left the seeds in place, so as the weather cools off and maybe this vine dies back and quits producing, I'll have a whole nother round. Because I'm just leaving the seeds there and I'm gonna let them do their thing. Yeah, so I'm gonna take you guys out behind the fence and show you some of this. Actually, I can show you some of it's running in my yard right now. I'll show you that really quick. So this is some of it. I'm letting it vine up around the moringa. This is one of those nice fresh blossoms I was talking about. And so this isn't a fruiting blossom, but you get the idea there. They're nice and big, nice and hardy. Also, the leaves are technically edible. I would suggest cooking them for just a little bit. They are a little bit rough, and they have, I don't know if you can hear that. I can get my lav close too. They have a little bit of texture to them. They're not really bristly, but you can feel something on there, and you can cook that off. But yeah, it's vining all along the fence here, and I believe they start somewhere back there. But yeah, so I'm going to show you guys behind the fence and show you how much space you should really give them, and the nature of kind of how they grow and stuff. So I don't know if you can see behind me. I'll take the camera off and kind of meander around and show you guys in a second. But all of this is sprawled out Seminole pumpkin vines. So yeah, it is nice that it's suppressing some of the wild grasses back here and stuff, and weeds. I like that. Very low maintenance. If you can see down in here, it's pretty moist. You'll see some moisture and stuff. That's that ditch I was talking about where the water runs along when there's overflow. See if we can find any extra pumpkins. I think I harvested them all, but here's a nice blossom. But yeah, all of this is vine. So yeah, earlier I was talking about the blossoms, and this is a nice example. This is a female. They got pollinated. There's fruit, so you can technically take the blossom there, and it's a nice fresh blossom. So I can either eat this raw, which isn't bad, nice and tender, has that pumpkin, between pumpkin flesh and pumpkin seed flavor. I do like to put a little oil in a pan, got some ants on there, and toast them up just a little bit. You can also stuff them, bake them, do all sorts of stuff with them, but they're pretty awesome. Another one that's been pollinated. Save that for later. All right guys, so I didn't see any additional from the 3 that I showed you that I harvested yesterday. They take about 60 to 90 days from plant to harvest. And so we're just kind of getting into this now. You guys saw the blossoms in there, so I am expecting more. We do have these 2 nice blossoms I just harvested today that'll be nice little treat to eat later tonight. But yeah, I've been super bummed out the multiple years that I've tried to grow certain squashes and stuff this time of year, and they're really hit or miss with a tiny window. I can probably plant that stuff when it cools off here in September, but we are in August right now, and pretty much from August into September, it's still pretty hot there. Good for germination maybe, but yeah. Another plus side of these is they're not as prone to certain pests like vine borers too, so that's definitely beneficial. The only thing is you want to make sure to water them at night and stuff so they don't get singed during the day too much, and that would make them less susceptible to any kind of pests. All right guys, I know this was quick, but I was pretty excited about this. This was an experimental thing I kind of heard through the grapevine. I guess these are originally from Central and South America, so they do good with warm, hot climates and humidity. All right, well that's gonna wrap up today's video. If you haven't, consider subscribing if you want to keep up with more stuff like this, or you'd like me to do any updates. Also comment below if you have any additional input, or you have some cultivars you'd like to share with everyone that do particularly well in heat or humidity. All right, well that's going to do it for today's video. As always, thanks for tuning in. Until next time.